Ever seen a classic David versus Goliath story play out in real life? Where the scrappy underdog, against all odds, takes down the giant. That's exactly what happened in ancient China at a place called Guandu. This wasn't just any battle. It was the fight that would decide the fate of the North and set the stage for the legendary Three Kingdoms period. The question on everyone's mind back then was the same one we ask today. Can brilliant strategy truly overcome brute force? Can a smaller, smarter army defeat a massive, seemingly invincible one? Stick around, because the story of Guandu has the answer, and it's more dramatic than you can imagine. On one side, we have Yuan Shao. Picture this guy. He's the heavyweight champion. He controls the 4 wealthiest provinces in northern China, commands a massive army of over 100,000 elite soldiers, and has a court full of advisors. He's the establishment, the favorite, the one everyone expected to win and unite the land under his banner. His camp was a who's who of northern warlords, and his resources seemed endless. If you were a betting person in the year 200 AD, all your money would be on Yuan Shao. He had the numbers, the supplies, and the prestige. On paper, he was unstoppable. But then there was the challenger, Cao Cao. If Yuan Shao was the Goliath, Cao Cao was the David, but a very, very cunning David. His territory was smaller, his resources were stretched thin, and his army was a fraction of the size of Yuan Shao's, maybe 20,000 to 30,000 men on a good day. He was surrounded by rivals, and his position was precarious to say the least. But Cao Cao had something Yuan Shao lacked: razor-sharp strategic genius, an unparalleled eye for talent, and a gambler's instinct for taking calculated risks. He was a master of logistics, intelligence, and psychological warfare. While Yuan Shao commanded with an iron fist, Cao Cao led with a flexible, brilliant mind. The stage was set at Guandu, a strategic fortress on the south bank of the Yellow River. This was Cao Cao's line in the sand. He knew he couldn't win a straightforward head-on clash. That would be suicide. So he dug in, building a network of forts and trenches, turning the battlefield into a meat grinder designed to exhaust Yuan Shao's larger force. The initial months of the battle were a brutal stalemate. Yuan Shao's forces launched wave after wave of attacks. They built massive siege towers that rained arrows down on Cao Cao's men. They even tried to tunnel under Cao Cao's walls. But for every move Yuan Shao made, Cao Cao had a counter. He used catapults to smash the siege towers and dug a massive trench to counter the enemy tunnels. It was a war of attrition, and Cao Cao's smaller army was feeling the strain. Supplies were dwindling, morale was dangerously low, and some of his own men were even considering defecting. It looked like the end. Cao Cao himself was on the verge of retreating, writing to his main advisor that his position was untenable. This is where the story takes a legendary turn. It's the moment that proves intelligence is the ultimate weapon. A defector arrived in Cao Cao's camp. His name was Shu Yu, and he was one of Yuan Shao's key advisors. But he was furious with his lord for ignoring his advice and arresting his family. He came to Cao Cao with a piece of information so valuable it would change the course of Chinese history. He knew the location of Yuan Shao's main supply depot, a place called Wuchao. This wasn't just a small stockpile. It was the entire grain reserve for Yuan Shao's massive army. Zhu Yu told Cao Cao that Wuchao was only lightly guarded. This was the opening Cao Cao had been desperately waiting for. Now, many commanders would have been skeptical. A defector showing up in the dead of night with a too-good-to-be-true tip? It could easily be a trap. But Cao Cao was a master of reading people. He saw the genuine anger in Shu Yu and trusted his gut. He knew this was his one and only shot. He couldn't afford to hesitate. In a move of sheer audacity, Cao Cao decided to lead a daring, high-stakes raid himself. He gathered a small, elite force of 5,000 light cavalry, disguised them as Yuan Shao's troops, and galloped through the night towards Wuchao under the cover of darkness. It was an all-or-nothing gamble. If they were discovered, they would be surrounded and annihilated. If they succeeded, they could cripple Yuan Shao's entire war effort. The scene at Wuchao must have been chaotic. Cao Cao's raiders descended on the unsuspecting garrison, setting fire to the massive grain stores. The blaze lit up the night sky for miles around. When Yuan Shao saw the fire from his main camp, he faced a critical decision. His best general, Zhang He, urged him to send a large force to relieve Wuchao immediately. But another advisor argued that Cao Cao's main camp must be nearly empty, and this was the perfect chance to capture it and win the battle outright. Yuan Shao, ever the indecisive leader, tried to do both. He sent a small, inadequate force to Wuchao and a larger force to attack Cao Cao's main camp. It was the worst possible decision. The small relief force was no match for Cao Cao's desperate soldiers at Wuchao and was easily repelled. Meanwhile, the attack on Cao Cao's main camp, which was still well defended, failed completely. The news from Wuchao was devastating. The entire supply depot was destroyed. An army of over 100,000 men now had no food. Panic swept through Yuan Shao's ranks. The psychological blow was even greater than the material loss. Their seemingly invincible leader had been completely outsmarted. Soldiers began to desert in droves. Generals Zhang He and Gao Lan, disgusted by Yuan Shao's incompetence and fearing they would be blamed for the failure, defected to Cao Cao with their entire units. Yuan Shao's magnificent army, the pride of the north, simply collapsed. It dissolved in a matter of days. Yuan Shao himself fled north with only a handful of retainers, a broken man. The aftermath of Guandu was seismic. Cao Cao, the underdog, had achieved the impossible. He didn't just win a battle, he shattered his most powerful rival. This single victory cemented his control over the vast North China Plain, the heartland of ancient China. It gave him the resources, manpower, and momentum to become the dominant power of his time. Without the victory at Guandu, there would be no Kingdom of Wei, and the Three Kingdoms period as we know it would never have happened. So, what's the ultimate lesson from Guandu? It's a timeless one. It teaches us that numbers aren't everything. Resources aren't everything. Having a bigger army or a bigger budget doesn't guarantee victory. It was Yuan Shao's indecisiveness and arrogance versus Cao Cao's strategic flexibility, his trust in intelligence, and his courage to take a massive, calculated risk when it mattered most. The raid on Wuchao wasn't just a lucky break. It was the result of a leader who was prepared to seize an opportunity the moment it appeared. It's a powerful reminder that in warfare, in business, and in life, a sharp mind can be the most powerful weapon of all. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into one of history's greatest military upsets. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about the incredible strategies and characters of the Three Kingdoms era, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us create more content like this for you. Let us know in the comments which historical battle you'd like us to cover next. Until then, stay curious.